Good evening, dear students and my dear parents who are watching this program. Good evening again and welcome to today's live show, live episode, live classroom of My Teacher. It's the biggest classroom of the UAE. We had a few sessions towards the last phase of the last academic year. Now with the Gulf, all of us have started the new academic session 2015-16 with new expectations and dreams. So at the very outset, let me wish you all for a smooth journey throughout this academic year, my dear students. It's like today's session basically focuses the senior secondary students of CBSE curriculum. I'm not elaborating some concepts of physics, but today I will give you some basics how to do good in physics. Before we move on to anything, let me say a few things about what's to do to improve in physics. You might have chosen the streams by now, all the 11th standard students. 11th standard students, soon after 10th, you got into the new year very fast and you chose the subjects of your choice. You might have started studying at the beginning itself. Hope so. At the same time, grade 12 students, you must be having some serious sessions by now, because in most of the schools they have started advanced sessions just after finishing grade 11. Anyway, I hope all of you have got the textbooks required for the coming academic year, and at the same time for grade 12, last year for in the last phase of the board examinations, we had a test online through the website, through one of our website. We found it it was an overwhelming response from the students. Anyway, good to know that many of you made use of the opportunity to write the test online through the website. And the 12th standard exams are almost over. Now I think only one more subject is left, that is psychology. It is going to be on 20th for 12th grade. Now you must be in ABC 12th standard students. Those who have completed 12th, you must be ABC preparations with entrance coaching, entrance examinations, all competitive examinations. Hope all of you will be doing good. Now let's move on to those who are now in the battlefield. That is, those who are doing 11th and 12th science streams. First of all, this kind of a program, like today we have a live session of My Teacher. Every day 5 to 6, this is there, we have sessions of My Teacher with different subjects. And today's session being live, if at all you have got any doubts or confusions regarding the general aspects or the topics or whatever it is, you can very well call and ask us, and we can definitely get back to us even through the mail as well. Very first thing is to improve in physics. The first thing is you have to develop a study pattern, at the beginning itself, instead of leaving the things aside. Instead of thinking that, okay, when the examinations come, we'll start preparing or something of that sort, instead of, keeping it aside. It's always good to do along with the classes. Now, if something is kept aside, it will become, rusted actually, it will be difficult to clean it further. So, it's always good along with the classes. You prepare the lessons and clarification of doubts. To improve in physics, it is a must. Whenever you study something, you just go through it. Whenever you learn something, just go through the contents and see if any confusions there. You just make a note on. There should be a habit of, or you should develop a habit of writing them down on the back side of the book, so that as and when you get a chance with the teacher, you get them cleared and solve it again and see, you make sure you understood the concept. The pattern of the question papers that you are going to get, or the trend of the CBSE question pattern is such that it demands more of extra work. It demands more of application level questions, or it demands more of the things which are beyond the straight concepts or beyond the straight theoretical portions. That means whatever you have in the notebook, whatever you are doing in the class, that's actually a foundation for you to prepare for the examination. After that, it comes like you have to do more extra questions from different sources, then only you are going to improve. So develop a good study habit, clarify your doubts in time, don't let them be piled up. Clarify your doubts in time, right? That is, there again, after clearing the doubts, you should definitely practice more and more, or number of times also. The same concepts you have to do a number of times, for which you have to you should have a clear picture on that. Then you have to, another point I want to release about prioritizing the things. See, what to be done after reaching home from the school, what to be done first, what to be done next, you should have a clear picture on that. Okay, prioritize your study pattern, prioritize your things to be done, so that what happens is you will be able to do your best from whenever you have you are with a quality time with you, the quality time should be spent for studies. Okay, so then the things will shape up in the proper way, you will be able to perform well in the examinations. If suppose you feel that you are not able to cope up with beginning itself, then you will develop a sort of lack of confidence, and you will have the tendency to go back. Rather, at the beginning itself, if you are trying to cope up with the things which you do in the class, surely you will have a self-confidence, and you will be able to improve further and further. You will definitely be able to produce amazing results towards the end of the academic session. There's no doubt in that. And of course, practicing of the previous year's question papers. So remember, when you start an academic session, it's always better at the beginning you should collect all the necessary materials that you're going to have, or that you may be using it towards the last phase or on the journey. So there are lots of plenty of materials are available around you, especially you refer the CBSE's website. In the page examination, in the page publications, in the page resources, you will get a lot of materials. Download whatever possible materials which are available in the website, and keep different folders for different subjects, and be prepared like that. You have ample material with you. So the most important thing which you have to prepare before the examination is the board paper questions. Even if it is a class test, even if it is a unit test, it must be done. For that, you should have a clear picture about how many questions are there from each unit. It's not like you don't wait for the last phase to start doing the board papers and the sample papers published by the CBSE. Instead, beginning itself, you should select the questions which were asked from this particular unit on those these previous years, collect them out and find out the answers. Take the help of the teachers as well. Of course, if you have any questions to be solved, if you have anything to be asked, you can definitely call us during this live interaction, so that we will try to solve it here. And you can even ask your teachers as well to explore more on the contents you are doing. Surely an interest in the subject, especially physics, an interest in the subjects will definitely help you improve further and further. That's why you might have taken the choice of your subjects is based on the interest. It's not like what you're doing up to 10th standard. Like 11th and 12th, you chose some subjects. To develop interest in physics, one thing let me suggest, whatever contents you're doing in the class, especially in the subjects like physics, the contents you're doing in the class are one way or the other related to our environment. So to develop interest, always try to relate with whatever you see around. Surely you will be able to do that. And another thing is, so first you try to relate with what you observe around, then you try to explore more. You may use internet, you can Google it, and you can download the videos related to that. You know, so much of materials are available around you. It's not like those olden years. Now you have everything in your fingertips. So you find out maximum related to that particular content and explore more and more. So you will automatically develop interest in the topic or in the subject. That is how you can get into the topic more and more close to it. And second thing is, while you learn a content, always you try to compare and learn. That's another way of improving your learning method. Comparing and learning. That is, you already might have done something related to this in the lower classes or in another subject. So try to relate with that, you know, just how this is in connection connected to that, or how what is a similarity, what is a dissimilarity, find it out, and instead of learning this as a new thing, you see how that can be molded to become this one. Meaning you just compare, or that is what is called comparative learning. You recall what you have done already and try to learn the new contents comparing with the previous one. Another method I want to tell you is about, so comparative method is one, another method is what you call as sequential learning. That means when you are learning something in the class, when you are taught in the class, surely you must be very, very attentive in the class and find out what are the steps through which the teacher is going through the different contents. What is done first, what is done next, you know, what's the first step, what's the second step. You identify the sequence of developing the lesson very fast, and along with the teacher to go through that and identify what is the route by which the teacher is going. Try to follow that. What the teacher writes in the first on the board, what is written in the second step as a second step, where she or he turned, right? Where is the twist, or where is the derivation coming, where is the equation you are grabbing from somewhere. Identify the route through which the teacher is going and try to follow that. Surely it will help you to develop your learning technique and to reach the right destination very fast. Right? So, and most of you may have troubles in numerical problems related to the contents. By the time you finish off learning theory, you will not have enough time to go through the numerical problems. Or you may have, some of you may be having some sort of allergy towards numerical problems, but remember, it will definitely harm you. It will definitely spoil the whole scene. Whatever effort you are taking, like you may be doing a lot with the theory, you may be spending a lot of time in studies with theory contents, what you have in the notes. But if this part is not done properly, if you are not doing the extra questions, if you are not doing enough number of numerical problems, surely whatever effort you have taken for preparing the theory contents, that is not going to work out. Otherwise, it is not going to, it will be in vain. There is no much of use in doing that much of theory contents if you are not practicing. If you are not practicing the numerical problems, that means there is a gap. If you are not able to fill the gap, what will happen? You are not reaching the destination. It's like you are traveling further and reaching very near to the destination, but after that before reaching the destination you are turning back. Okay, so you are not making use of the efforts you have done, or you are not getting the output of the effort you have done, as you are not reaching the destination. So this is what's the situation if you are practicing a lot of theory concepts but not able to do the numerical problems or application level questions related to that. So difficulties in numerical problems to overcome, I will tell you a method. When you learn a content in the class, along with the content itself, you just try to do small simple numerical problems related to the content. Instead of keeping all the numerical problems together towards the end, you study one content, try to solve numerical problems related to that. In the NCERT textbook, you can see after some contents, some worked out examples are given. Just go through the worked out examples in the textbook, and related questions in the exercise you identify and try to solve them out. Definitely you can improve. Simple numerical problems, first you try to solve them out. Instead of grabbing the most tough one at the beginning itself, try to do simple. Always step by step you should go up. And another aspect is you may have issues in solving numerical problems, like certain specific areas you should be equipped with or you should be familiar with for you to improve in physics for grades 11 and 12. I will tell you very specifically. The first thing, just you may listen to this board, the first thing is you should have a clear idea about what you call as logarithms. Logarithms, you should have a clear picture. How to solve logarithms, you know, in CBSE syllabus, you are to use logarithm, you are supposed to use logarithm table for the calculation purpose. Okay, so logarithms one. Another area is about conversion factors. Conversion, that is another area where you may go wrong. You know, there are different prefixes we use, such as nanometer or nano, pico, micro, okay, centi. All these conversion factors or these prefixes have got their values. So whenever conversion comes, that is one place where you may go wrong. All the units are supposed to be SI units. Then the shapes of graphs, how graphs come out between different quantities, how to plot a graph between two quantities. Another area we should have a clear picture is about vectors. That's another major area in 11th standard. You will be studying these concepts of vectors in the second unit, second chapter. There is motion in a plane. In that chapter, you will be doing the concepts of vectors, and it will be prolonged to other chapters like work energy power, rotational motion and all. So remember, when you study, you are going to study that only for 11th graders. Remember, when you study this one, you have to be very, very, very careful in catching it up maximum clearly, because this is useful throughout. You know, you will need it 11th, you will need it in 12th, you will need it whenever you go for doing physics in the higher classes as well. Okay, so everything related to vectors, it's really important. And another thing is about calculus. Calculus consists of two sections like differentiation and integration. About calculus, it is part of mathematics, so you will need the calculus section for doing some contents of 11th standard physics also even, and 12th standard also you will need it. So those who have taken mathematics, you will be doing calculus in your maths portion. That may be useful that will be useful in physics, and but those who are not, those who haven't taken mathematics, remember, you have to take some extra pain to learn some concepts of calculus which are relevant for doing physics. So once again, I think you have seen this. These are the basic things you will need to be prepared, because you know, some of these areas, if you are not sure about, or not clear about, then you may have troubles or you may have problems in doing the contents of physics. Okay, so today my plan is we will discuss some of them. So especially logarithms, we will focus today first logarithms. I have some interesting videos as well. If the time permits, I will show you that as well. To some, you know, that will give you some picture about where we make use of physics in the everyday applications. So first we will discuss the concepts of logarithms which are useful for physics. Okay, so we will do logarithms. Remember, I am going to explain how logarithms are useful in calculations. So see, remember, this is useful for both 11th and 12th standard children. So those who are doing in 11th and 12th, those who are not familiar with logarithms or how to use logarithm for calculations, you listen now. It is very much required. Sometimes you may not be doing this in the school. That's why I thought of especially doing that today, because it is what is one of the basics required for doing physics properly. Okay, for doing calculations. Okay, the first question to you is, what is logarithm? What do you mean by logarithm? We know we are using logarithms for the calculation purpose. Instead of calculators, and as you are not allowed to use calculators, you are going to use logarithms for the calculations. So first point is, what is logarithm? I will explain that. You know, suppose if you write a number, say I am writing 3 squared is equal to 9. When I write 3 squared is equal to 9, it simply shows that it's like it's in the form of power or exponential form we are writing. But this same statement, mathematical statement, we can even write in another way. That is logarithm of, this is way to write, logarithm of 9 is equal to 2 if the base is 3. Now can you define what is logarithm? What are logarithms? Look, logarithm of a number, here the number is 9, okay, is the power to which the base must be raised to get the given number. That's the definition of logarithm. Logarithm of a number is the power, it's a power to which the base must be raised. You know, base is 3. 3 must be raised, 3 must be multiplied. How many times 3 must be multiplied? That is indicated by the number 2 to get the given number. So let me tell you once again, what's the definition of logarithm? Logarithm of a number is the power to which the base must be raised to get the given number. To get 9, how many times 3 must be multiplied? That power, you know, the 2 is the logarithm of 9. So in that case, if I write the other way, that is, if I say logarithm of 27, I am writing logarithm of 27 as 3. So what would be the base here? Base must be 3, because we know 3 raised to 3 is equal to 27, right? Again, if I write logarithm of 64 is equal to 6, can you say what must be the logarithm? If I write logarithm of 64 is 6, what must be the logarithm? Sorry, what must be the base? Base must be 2. Is that clear? That means we know 2 raised to 6 or 2 to the power 6 is equal to 64. Right? Logarithm of 64 is equal to 6 if the base is 2. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now further, if I write logarithm of 64 is equal to 2, if you write, I am writing logarithm of 64 is equal to 2. Now can you say what's the base of this? It is, I think you know now, okay, that is 8, because we can write 8 squared is equal to 64. 8 raised to 2 is equal to 64. That means logarithm of 64 is equal to 2 when the base is 8. Right? So all of you have understood what is logarithm. Logarithm of a number is the power to which the base must be raised to get the given number. Right? So now let me ask you another thing. Once again, if I write 10 cubed, you know, 10 cubed is equal to 1000. So logarithmic form we can write logarithm of 1000 is equal to 3 when the base is 10. Now let us focus on those numbers with base 10 only, those logarithms with base 10. Such logarithms are called common logarithms. So we are only discussing about common logarithms. Common logarithms are the logarithms with base 10. Now we can say logarithm of 1000 is equal to 3 because base is 10. Remember, now on I am not going to say the base, instead simply I am saying logarithm of 1000. You should see that logarithm of 1000, simply if you say, it means logarithm of 1000 to the base 10, which is equal to 3. So in that case, what's logarithm of 100 is equal to 2 because base is 10. Alright, we are talking now only, we forget about all these, we just think of those logarithms with base 10 and which are what are termed as common logarithms. So common logarithm of 100 is equal to 2. So what's the logarithm of 10 now? It's equal to 1. In that case, what's the logarithm of 1? Remember, if base is 10, any number raised to 0 is 1, you know that, right? So the logarithm of 1 is 0 because 10 raised to 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so in that case, what will be the logarithm of 0.1? 0.1, how do you write? It is 10 to the power minus 1. The power is minus 1. So the characteristic is minus 1. Sorry, the logarithm is minus 1. Okay. Again, one more number. If I write 0.01 as the number, what's the logarithm of 0.01? Is, see this you can write as 10 to the power minus 2. So it is minus 2. That means if I replace these numbers with their respective powers like log 10 squared, log 10 raised to 1, this is log 10 raised to 0, This is log 10 raised to minus 1. This is log 10 raised to minus 2. So, in all these you can see that just the power you write, that is the logarithm of the number. It is fine. That is, if you are given 10 cubed 1000. So, what is the logarithm of 1000? 3. The power is 3. 10 squared is 100. So, logarithm of 100 is 2. Okay. So, now I hope you understood this much. Now, the next aspect. Suppose you could write the logarithm of 256. Write the logarithm of this. So far we are talking about the numbers. By the way, remember again, you make sure the base is 10. That is, we are talking only about common logarithms. Again, remember, if we are going to think of the logarithm of 256, what is the logarithm? Look, logarithm of 100, you know, it is 2. Told you about that, right? And logarithm of 1000 is how much? 3. Logarithm of 100 is 2. Logarithm of 1000 is 3. So, what can be the logarithm? What can be the logarithm of 256? It would be a number between 2 and 3, because this number 256 is between 100 and 1000. Therefore, its logarithm must be between 2 and 3. So, how do you write a number which is between 2 and 3? What is the format of writing a number which is between 2 and 3? How do you write? You write it as 2 point something. Correct. A number which is coming between 2 and 3, you write as 2 point something. So, the logarithm of 256 is 2 point something. This something we do not know now, for which we are referring a table. You know that you must be familiar with this table. You know the Clark's table, you must be familiar with this. This is the table we are using. All these logarithms and all given clearly in this. Okay, so this is the logarithm table, logarithm, anti-logarithm and all given. So, to find out what is the logarithm of this number, you know this value 2 that you can write straight away. But how much is this? That you can find out only from this table. That I will show you how to do. Some examples I will show you. But before that, let me tell you once again, 256 logarithm is 2 point something. That means a logarithm, in general now we can say logarithm of a number contains two parts. One part is the one which comes before the decimal point, the other part is that comes after the decimal point. So, this part whatever comes, that we will refer the table and find out. This comes is what is called, whatever comes is what is called mantissa of the logarithm, and this is called characteristic. Now, let me say this way, a logarithm of a number contains two parts, characteristic and mantissa. Characteristic straight away we can write. Mantissa, to write to it we may refer the table, that is the purpose of the table. Alright. Now, in that case 256, another number say 520 or 5265. Can you say what is the logarithm of this? You may write it as what, 3 point something. The 3 is the characteristic. So, there is an easy way to write the characteristic now. So, just forget about mantissa now for the time being, we will come to that. Now, think of how to write the characteristic. So, what you do is, whichever is the number given, you write it in the standard format. Standard format means write this as 2.56 into 10 raised to 2. So, 2, the 2 is the characteristic. So, now once again, I will just show you how to write the characteristic of a logarithm. Say 0.0056, how to put it in the standard form? You can write it as 5.6 times 10 to the power minus 3. So, the characteristic is what? Minus 3 is the characteristic, just the power of 10, but you write it in the standard form. Say for example, in speed of light, you know 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. When you write the logarithm of the whole number, the logarithm's characteristic is just 8, the power is 8. 8 is the characteristic, you will write 8 point something. And again minus 3, when you write in logarithms, you will usually write it as bar 3. Minus 3 means bar 3, just for the convenience we are writing like that. Okay, and even like you know the gravitational constant you must be familiar, 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. So, its characteristic is bar 11 point something. So, now by now I hope you understood what is logarithm, what is the component of a logarithmic number, that is there is a characteristic and a mantissa, and how to write a characteristic of the number. How to write, say you can just compare with this and say, right, say once again if it just the number is only 5, what will be the characteristic? Only 5. 5 we can write as what? In standard form, 5 times 10 to the power 0. So, the characteristic is 0. So, you know how to write the characteristic of a number. Now, I will show you how to find out the Mandisa, and above all I will show you what is the purpose of all these, why we should learn logarithm, how can you use logarithm for doing calculations, okay, in multiplication, divisions, taking power and all, how the calculation becomes easy with the help of logarithms without manual multiplication, how we will do that I will explain after a short break. After a short break we will come back and we will discuss more on logarithms. So, stay tuned, we will be back right after a break.